Have you ever dreamed of seeing the world after 70? Maybe you've always wanted to visit that place you've heard so much about or take that long-awaited trip to reconnect with family. The idea of finally having the time to enjoy yourself, explore new places, and experience the world with the wisdom of a lifetime is truly appealing. But here's the truth that many overlook. Traveling after 70 isn't the same as it once was. Sure, your sense of adventure and desire to explore may be as strong as ever, but as we age, our bodies and our needs change in ways we might not always expect. What used to be a straightforward journey can quickly become a bit more complicated, and there are hidden dangers that can put a serious damper on your trip if you're not careful. Traveling at any age comes with its own set of risks: delays, missed flights, lost luggage, or simply navigating unfamiliar places. But as we get older, these risks intensify, and there are certain factors that you must take into account before packing your bags and heading out the door. You might think of your next trip as a chance to unwind, see family, or enjoy that dream destination. But traveling after 70 requires more preparation than you might realize. You see, there are hidden dangers that only time and experience reveal, and these are the kinds of risks no travel brochure or itinerary will warn you about. These aren't just a few things you should keep in mind. These are risks that, without proper knowledge and preparation, could not only ruin your trip, but seriously affect your health, your safety, and your peace of mind. So, if you're planning your next journey, whether it's a quick weekend getaway or a month-long adventure, it's crucial to understand these dangers before you step on that plane or get in the car. The good news? With the right awareness and precautions, you can travel with the same joy and freedom you always have, but now, with even more wisdom. Today, we're going to explore 6 hidden dangers that every senior must understand before setting off on their next journey. These aren't your typical travel tips. These are the kinds of risks that could catch you off guard if you aren't careful, and knowing about them ahead of time will make all the difference in ensuring your travels are safe and enjoyable. So, let's begin with the first hidden danger, a danger that's more common than you might think, and one that can affect anyone, no matter how fit or prepared you feel. Now, let's talk about the first hidden danger: health conditions and medication, 2 critical factors that many seniors overlook when preparing for travel. It might seem obvious, but it's something far too many travelers don't fully take into account. As we get older, our bodies naturally change. We become more vulnerable to certain conditions: heart disease, arthritis, high blood pressure, and diabetes, just to name a few. These aren't conditions that stop when you board a plane or check into a hotel. In fact, traveling can make these conditions worse if you don't plan ahead. The change in climate, long flights, unfamiliar food, and even the stress of travel can all trigger a flare-up or make symptoms harder to manage. But the real hidden danger comes from the medications we take. For many seniors, daily medication is part of life. It could be something as simple as blood pressure medication, insulin for diabetes, or perhaps something for joint pain. These medications help keep us functioning day to day, but they don't always play nice with travel. For example, the timing of when you take your medication can become a problem when crossing time zones. If you're traveling internationally, or even just flying across the country, you'll experience time changes that could disrupt your usual medication schedule. Forgetting a dose or taking it at the wrong time could lead to serious complications. And that's not all. Medications can also interact with the pressure changes during flight, or even the food and drink you consume during your trip. Now imagine this scenario. You're on a long-haul flight, and your body is reacting differently to the medication because of the cabin pressure. Maybe you're feeling lightheaded, nauseous, or dehydrated, and you can't figure out why. Your medication could be the culprit, something that could have been easily avoided with just a little preparation and foresight. This is why it's crucial to consult with your doctor before you travel. A simple conversation can help you adjust your medication schedule, make sure you have enough supplies for the trip, and even discuss the potential side effects of traveling on certain medications. Your doctor may also recommend ways to manage symptoms while traveling, such as adjusting dosages or having emergency medications on hand, just in case. And here's a tip that's often overlooked. Always carry a list of your medications, including the dosages and any medical conditions you have, in case of an emergency. It may seem like a small detail, but having this information readily available could save your life in a foreign country or an unfamiliar hospital. But medication isn't the only thing you need to be mindful of when traveling at this age. There's another, more subtle danger that many people don't consider, a danger that can creep up on you and cause more harm than you expect. Stay with me, because this next one might surprise you. Now let's talk about the second hidden danger that could end up being one of the most important decisions you make before your trip: travel insurance. We've all heard about travel insurance, but here's the thing. It's not just a small box you tick off when booking your flights. Especially as we age, having the right travel insurance is absolutely essential, and neglecting it could leave you in an incredibly vulnerable position. Imagine this. You're halfway across the world, enjoying the vacation you've dreamed of, when suddenly something unexpected happens. You fall ill or get injured, and it's clear you need medical attention. But here's the catch. You're in a foreign country, and without the right insurance, you could end up footing a massive bill. Even worse, if your injury or illness is severe, you might need to be flown back home, a costly and complicated process if you're not properly covered. Travel insurance often seems like an afterthought, something that people assume they can do without. But that's a mistake. The fact is, as we age, the likelihood of needing medical care while traveling increases. This is true even if you're in great health. Accidents can happen to anyone, and being caught without coverage could turn your dream vacation into an expensive nightmare. Many seniors think that their regular health insurance will cover them abroad, but that's often not the case. The healthcare system in some countries may not accept your insurance, or your provider may have specific exclusions for out-of-country medical costs. And without travel insurance, you could find yourself in a dire situation. Even something as simple as a broken arm or a bad fall can lead to hefty medical bills overseas. It's not just medical coverage you should be concerned about either. Trip cancellations, lost luggage, and flight delays are also common issues that can ruin a vacation. With the right insurance, you're covered in the event of a flight cancellation due to a storm or a health emergency that forces you to reschedule your trip. But here's the kicker. Not all travel insurance policies are created equal. It's crucial to read the fine print and make sure the policy you choose covers your specific needs. Do you have a pre-existing health condition? Are you planning on participating in any adventurous activities like hiking or swimming? Some policies will exclude coverage for certain activities or conditions, so you need to choose a plan that fits your unique situation. Also, consider the possibility of needing evacuation insurance. It's not something many people think about, but if you're traveling to a remote area or a country with less than ideal healthcare facilities, being airlifted to the nearest hospital could cost tens of thousands of dollars. Most standard travel insurance doesn't cover this, so you might need to purchase additional coverage for medical evacuation. So before you book that flight or pack your bags, make sure you take the time to research your options and secure comprehensive travel insurance. It's a small investment that could save you from the financial and emotional stress of an unexpected emergency. But just when you think you've covered all your bases, there's one more hidden danger that often flies under the radar. This one, unfortunately, is something many seniors experience, but often ignore until it's too late. And when it happens, it can quickly turn a pleasant trip into a very serious ordeal. Let's dive into this next danger, and trust me, it's something you don't want to miss. As we continue to explore the hidden dangers of traveling after 70, let's address something that can completely derail your trip if not managed properly: jet lag and fatigue. This might sound like a minor inconvenience, but for seniors, the effects can be far more significant than they are for younger travelers. Let me take you back to a story of a woman named Helen, a spirited 72-year-old who had always dreamed of visiting the beautiful city of Paris. She'd been planning her trip for months, researching everything from the best restaurants to visit to finding the perfect spots to take pictures. But when she finally arrived in Paris after a 10-hour flight, something unexpected happened. Helen had been careful to pack all the essentials: her medications, travel insurance, even extra snacks to keep her energized. But what she didn't prepare for was the overwhelming wave of fatigue and disorientation that hit her as soon as she stepped off the plane. The long flight across multiple time zones had taken a toll on her body, and jet lag hit hard. It wasn't just a few hours of tiredness, it was constant dizziness, trouble focusing, and a general sense of fatigue that didn't seem to go away. At first, Helen thought it was just a temporary issue. But days passed, and she still couldn't shake the feeling of exhaustion. It made sightseeing nearly impossible. Her energy was depleted, and the joy of her dream vacation began to slip away. The once beautiful city of Paris, full of life and culture, seemed far too overwhelming when she was struggling to stay awake and function properly. This story is all too common for seniors. As we get older, our bodies are less able to adjust to drastic changes in time zones. Our internal clocks, also known as circadian rhythms, can take longer to reset. And because we're not as physically resilient as we once were, the effects of jet lag can linger for days, leaving us feeling drained and disconnected. The real danger here is that fatigue can also impact your ability to enjoy your trip, but it doesn't stop there. Jet lag and exhaustion can also exacerbate other health issues you may have. For example, you could become more prone to falls or injuries because you're too tired to react quickly or maintain your balance. It can also affect your immune system, making you more susceptible to illnesses while traveling, which is the last thing you need when you're far from home. But here's where it gets even trickier. Many seniors make the mistake of trying to push through jet lag without recognizing the serious impact it has on their health. They might feel the urge to keep going, to keep sightseeing or doing activities, all while their body is begging for rest. That's when the true risks arise. Ignoring fatigue can lead to accidents, dehydration, and even worse, more severe health complications. The key to avoiding this hidden danger is preparation. If you know you're going to be flying across multiple time zones, it's essential to adjust your sleep schedule in the days leading up to your trip. Gradually shift your sleeping and eating patterns to match your destination's time zone. It's a simple step that can significantly help with the adjustment once you arrive. Once you're at your destination, don't underestimate the importance of rest. If you feel tired, listen to your body. It might be tempting to dive straight into sightseeing or exploring, but pushing through the exhaustion can take a toll on your health. Instead, schedule breaks, hydrate often, and get plenty of sleep. A good tip is to keep your itinerary light for the first couple of days after arrival. Focus on relaxing activities like visiting local parks or cafes, where you can sit and take in the scenery without feeling rushed. Taking it slow will allow your body to acclimate to the new time zone and help you avoid the long-lasting effects of jet lag. If you're really struggling with fatigue, try taking a short nap, but keep it brief, no more than 20 to 30 minutes. This can help recharge your energy without throwing off your sleep schedule for the night. And don't forget to stay hydrated. Sometimes dehydration can make jet lag symptoms worse, so drinking plenty of water will help keep you feeling better. Traveling is meant to be an exciting and enriching experience, but jet lag and fatigue are often overlooked dangers that can make it much harder to enjoy. By planning ahead, respecting your body's needs, and taking things slow at the beginning, you can minimize these effects and enjoy your trip the way you always imagined. Now you might be thinking, that's something I can prepare for, but what about the unexpected dangers that travel might bring? The things that could happen to anyone, regardless of how well prepared you are. Well, we're about to tackle that next. Stay with me, because the next hidden danger is something that could hit at any moment and turn your vacation upside down. Now, let's discuss a topic that no one likes to think about, but is absolutely crucial when traveling after 70. Health emergencies and the lack of access to proper medical care. For many seniors, traveling involves stepping into unfamiliar territories, and with that, the very real possibility of health issues cropping up unexpectedly. Picture this. You're in a foreign country, enjoying a beautiful day, exploring local landmarks, when suddenly, you begin to feel lightheaded. At first, it's just a minor inconvenience, maybe the result of too much sun or a missed meal. But then, the dizziness worsens. Your chest tightens. A sharp pain shoots down your arm. What should have been a simple afternoon outing now feels like a terrifying medical emergency, and you're far from home. This happened to Bob, a 68-year-old retiree who had always dreamed of visiting South America. On his second day in Brazil, Bob started feeling a strange tightness in his chest. His initial thought was that it was nothing to worry about. Perhaps he was just dehydrated. But as his symptoms worsened, he realized he couldn't ignore it anymore. Luckily, he was able to find a local clinic, but the experience left him shaken. The problem wasn't just the physical pain. It was the sheer uncertainty of not knowing what to do or where to go for help. The language barrier made things more complicated. The clinic was small and didn't have the equipment or expertise he needed. Bob had to be rushed to a larger hospital for proper treatment, and it took hours. Hours he could have avoided if he had been more prepared. Unfortunately, Bob's story isn't unique. Health emergencies abroad can be far more complicated for seniors than they are for younger travelers. It's not just about physical health problems like heart attacks, strokes, or falls. It's also about chronic conditions. Many seniors live with underlying health issues like diabetes, hypertension, or respiratory problems, and traveling with these conditions requires extra caution. The first hidden danger here is the lack of immediate access to proper medical care. In many places, especially remote areas, health care facilities may not meet the standards you're used to at home. Emergency services can be slow, and you might find yourself struggling to get the attention or care you need in a timely manner. Even in major cities, medical care might not be up to the level you're accustomed to, and there can be language barriers that complicate matters. But there's more: the cost of medical care abroad. Health insurance policies can be tricky when it comes to travel, and many seniors make the mistake of thinking their regular health coverage will extend to international trips. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. You might find yourself stuck with hefty medical bills for care that isn't covered by your usual plan. So, how do you protect yourself? First and foremost, always travel with comprehensive travel insurance that includes coverage for medical emergencies. This is a non-negotiable. Make sure the policy specifically includes evacuation and repatriation, meaning if you need to be transported to a higher level of care or even flown home, you won't be left with a financial burden. Before you even book your tickets, it's vital to research the healthcare infrastructure of the country you're visiting. Know where the nearest hospitals or clinics are. If you have a chronic health condition, make sure you're aware of local healthcare facilities that specialize in your condition. Don't rely on the assumption that something will be available. Be proactive. Additionally, always carry a healthcare kit with you. Make sure it's well stocked with any medication you regularly take, as well as over-the-counter items like pain relievers, antihistamines, and any other items you may need in an emergency. A first aid kit is also a good idea. Don't forget to keep all your medications in their original packaging with a note from your doctor explaining what they're for. If you're traveling abroad, it's also important to have a list of emergency contacts, including your doctor at home. Know how to contact your country's embassy or consulate for help if you find yourself in a medical emergency. And make sure that someone at home has a copy of your health insurance details, so they can help coordinate care if necessary. Another useful tip is to research the local emergency numbers before you leave. In some countries, calling an ambulance may not be as straightforward as dialing 911. Knowing the right number and procedure ahead of time can save valuable minutes in an emergency. But even with all the best preparations, accidents and emergencies can still happen. And when they do, it's important to stay calm. Panic can make everything worse. If you feel unwell or injured, reach out to the nearest medical professional immediately. If language is a barrier, use translation apps on your phone or carry a medical phrasebook to help communicate symptoms effectively. Travel should be an exciting adventure, but health emergencies can turn that dream into a nightmare if you're unprepared. It's all about knowing your risks, planning ahead, and having the resources to handle anything that comes your way. A little preparation goes a long way in keeping you safe and healthy during your travels. Now you might be thinking, that's a lot to think about, but it's manageable. What's the next danger that could really catch me off guard during my travels? Stay tuned, because this next danger is one that can strike unexpectedly and make even the most carefully planned trips go sideways. As we near the end of this deep dive into the hidden dangers of traveling after 70, it's essential to understand that some risks can be harder to spot, yet they can be just as detrimental to your health and safety. These last two dangers, scams and fraud targeting seniors, and the risks of overexertion and overplanning, are not only alarming, but can quickly ruin what should be a fulfilling and enjoyable travel experience. Let's explore them in detail, so you'll be better prepared for your next adventure. There's no denying that scammers often target the elderly, and the risk increases when you're traveling. From fraudulent taxi drivers to fake charities and even dishonest hotel staff, criminals are always finding new ways to take advantage of unsuspecting seniors. While this is a widespread issue, seniors are often more vulnerable because they are generally more trusting and less familiar with the tactics that criminals use. Consider the story of Martha, a 73-year-old woman on her first solo trip to Spain. She had always been an open-minded traveler, eager to engage with locals and immerse herself in new experiences. One afternoon, she wandered through a charming neighborhood and met a man who appeared to be a friendly tour guide. He introduced himself with a warm smile, offering a private tour of the city's hidden gems. The price seemed reasonable and Martha, excited for a new adventure, eagerly accepted. The man led her through winding alleyways and quaint streets, making casual conversation along the way. But when the tour came to a close, he led her to a small cafe and insisted that she pay up front for the entire experience. Martha, feeling a little uncertain but not wanting to make a fuss, handed over the cash. As soon as the payment was made, the man disappeared, leaving Martha confused and realizing too late that she had been scammed. There was no tour, no charming experience, just a well-executed con. This is just one of the many types of scams that specifically target seniors. Whether it's fake tour operators, inflated prices for goods and services, or fraudulent travel agencies promising too good to be true deals, scammers have many tactics. Often, they prey on a senior's willingness to trust strangers, their unfamiliarity with local prices, or their desire to make the most out of their trip. So, how can you protect yourself from these types of scams while traveling? First, do your research. Before visiting a destination, take a few minutes to look up common scams in the area. Learning about the types of fraud prevalent in a particular location can be your first line of defense. Second, stick to reputable services. Avoid accepting offers from street vendors or strangers. Whether you're booking a taxi or booking a guided tour, always opt for well-known and trusted companies. Third, guard your information. Don't give out personal details like your credit card number to anyone unless you're certain they're legitimate. And finally, trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. If an offer sounds too good to be true, don't be afraid to walk away. By staying vigilant, you'll be better equipped to avoid falling victim to scammers and ensure that your trip remains stress-free. Now let's talk about one of the most common, yet easily overlooked dangers for seniors when traveling: overexertion and overplanning. While it's understandable to want to maximize every moment of your trip, pushing yourself too hard, both physically and mentally, can have serious consequences. The temptation to pack your days with endless activities, tours, and sightseeing can leave you feeling drained, and worse, lead to physical harm. Let's take a look at Jack, a 74-year-old man who had always dreamed of hiking through the stunning landscapes of New Zealand. Jack had carefully planned his itinerary to include the famous Tongariro Alpine Crossing, one of the most demanding hikes in the world. Despite suffering from arthritis in his knees, Jack was determined to complete the hike. He had spent years picturing this moment, and nothing was going to stop him. At first, everything went well. Jack enjoyed exploring the serene beauty of New Zealand's landscapes. But the more he pushed himself, the more his body began to resist. His knees throbbed with pain, and fatigue slowly crept in. Yet, Jack didn't slow down. He was determined to finish his hike and see the view from the top. By the time he reached the summit, he was physically exhausted. It wasn't long before his legs gave out, and he could barely walk. The strain on his body led to severe muscle fatigue and dehydration. He needed medical attention to recover, and his dream hike had turned into a dangerous ordeal. Jack's story is a cautionary tale about how overexertion can take a toll on your health. What starts as enthusiasm can quickly turn into physical harm if you don't listen to your body. The hidden danger here isn't just physical overexertion, but mental overplanning. Seniors often feel the need to fill their days with countless activities and tours, striving to make the most out of every opportunity. But this leads to stress, exhaustion, and eventually burnout. So, how can you avoid overexertion and overplanning during your travels? First, take it slow. While it's tempting to fill every day with activities, the key to a successful trip is pacing yourself. Don't be afraid to schedule downtime. Remember, it's not about how many sights you see. It's about enjoying the ones you do see. Second, know your limits. Listen to your body. If you feel tired or worn out, take a break. It's perfectly fine to skip an activity or slow down if you're not feeling up to it. Third, plan relaxing activities. Balance your itinerary with leisure activities. Whether it's enjoying a slow afternoon in a cafe or taking a gentle walk through the park, make time for rest. Fourth, consult with your doctor. If you have health concerns or plan to engage in physically demanding activities, always consult your doctor before traveling. A little extra preparation can go a long way. Fifth, stay hydrated and rested. Keep your energy levels up by drinking plenty of water and ensuring you get enough sleep. Traveling can be physically demanding, but staying hydrated and well-rested will help you avoid unnecessary fatigue. Overexertion and overplanning can easily turn a dream vacation into a nightmare. By staying mindful of your physical limits and not overscheduling, you'll be able to enjoy your travels in a way that's sustainable and safe. As we wrap up our exploration of these hidden dangers, remember that traveling after 70 can be one of the most enriching and fulfilling experiences of your life. But it's crucial to approach it with knowledge, preparation, and caution. By understanding the risks of scams, overexertion, and overplanning, you can protect yourself from potential harm and ensure that your trips are safe, enjoyable, and memorable. Your golden years should be filled with adventures and exploration, not stress, scams, or health risks. By planning wisely and taking proactive steps to protect yourself, you'll be able to travel with confidence and ease. So, when you're packing your bags for your next adventure, take these lessons with you and enjoy the freedom that comes with age, safely and wisely. Stay safe, stay prepared, and keep embracing the journey.